Howdy, folks. Welcome to this very impromptu, whoops, why is that thing still flying? I guess it's flying me live from live 7 seconds ago. Never mind, that was a test. I was testing. Alright, so this is now we're the live portion here. Welcome to a very impromptu special, a little live stream. I decided I haven't been on for a while because I just got seriously inundated with a lot of work. Like, I've been kind of dead or not doing much in the last since January. Like, January was kind of dead in the water. February, dead in the water. March, start thinking, getting a little busier. April, crazy, and then now I'm in the middle of literally 10 projects that are all happening at once, and it's nuts. But I figured I would just jump on. Right now my regular streaming setup is in the van. I got a new van we talked about last time, and yeah, I wanted to hop on, just kind of say some things, because I've been thinking about, so doing a lot of graduation stuff, and I'm hearing a lot of people talking about certain things, and I want to kind of share this one thought with you guys as far as how to be successful, or how to find a fulfilling thing to do in filmmaking. And what I think that is not really addressed, not even talked about a whole lot, and that's this. Let's not beat around the bush anymore. Okay, here's the thing. If you want to find success in filmmaking or any kind of occupation, but let's keep it to filmmaking, then you want to be of use to somebody else. Do something for somebody else. Be of service to somebody else. That's really all it is. It's really gracias por el clickbait. Yes. No, it really is. I mean, sure, this is a kind of a clickbait title, but I think like for me, that's the kind of switch in my mind, as far as, like, you know, you can sit around and if you focus on yourself and you focus on making things for yourself, can only take you so far. And it's only like, it's a glass half full kind of a thing. But if you focus on doing something for somebody else, it's way better. Like, okay, so I just wrapped up a Student of the Year thing. So I've been recording Zoom meetings of Student of the Year for the entire year. And to put it all together and to kind of see the kids progress through the year, and yes, it did pay. It didn't pay. I mean, it's not gonna, like, make me rich. I'm not getting super rich on it, but doing this, you know, it keeps my lights on, keeps my bills paid. But more importantly, I'm seeing, like, these kids go ahead and grow, and it's really amazing. Now, I hope I'm not coming off like a jerk about it, but they didn't really mention my name at the video, even though they watched all the videos of all these kids over the year, like, growing and just sharing all these messages about how, you know, triumphing in the period of uncertainty and doubt. And this, I mean, the juniors last year, the seniors this year of high school, they had a rough go of it. They didn't mention my name. They didn't thank me in the little ceremony, which I am 100% fine with, because that's not really, I don't need it. I don't really care. It's not even about the glory. I don't need that. I loved the cool thing about Zoom, you know, making videos for Zoom, is I can look at their faces watching the video. So I mean, I know the videos are powerful because I made them, right? I know they're powerful because the kids telling their story. I've got some dramatic music behind it, you know, some uplifting, powerful music behind it, and I can see their faces of the people watching the video. And I see, like, the smiles on their faces. And I think the superintendent at the very end said, like, how many times here we are at Thursday at 6:30 in the evening, we've got 72 people on the Zoom, and they all have smiles on their faces. And it's like, yeah, like, that's the reason. I mean, like, sure, it pays the bills to do this job, and I'm grateful that it can. But, like, to me, that's way more fulfilling than being, I don't know, than seeing, like, your own short film on you know, in a film festival. Although that's fulfilling too. I'm not going to knock that, but it is something that is cool to see. Just If you, I mean, so this is a message, if I can get out to you guys, it's this. It's that if you can find some way of making something, but make something for other people, make some other people happy, be of use to other people, and I don't think you'll ever have a problem finding a job, finding goodness in this world. It's only people that if you sit around and mope all day and you sit on Facebook and you argue with people, that's not that doesn't help anybody. You're not being an asset to society. But if you go out there, and for filmmakers, one of the things I want to share, like I tell people, go out there and go to a charity that you think is a worthy cause and offer to make a video for them. That's a great way to learn how to do some filmmaking, because you're doing some good for somebody else. And I think that's maybe I'm going to adjust my advice from now on. Anytime anybody asks me for any advice on how to become a filmmaker, it's going to be this: go out there and find a nonprofit, a charity organization, even your church. Or, you know, if you don't belong to a church, you can go to pick an arts activity. Maybe the arts is something you want to get involved with. Something community, something where you're not the focus. Something where you can focus on somebody else and support somebody else. And that's a good way to learn how to be a filmmaker. That's a good way to create these skills, and then you can apply them for somebody else and go on with your life. I don't know. That to me is like the best thing to do. And I don't know. Again, I'm doing a bunch of graduation videos. I'm doing hearing a lot of speeches. I'm hearing a lot of stuff. So that my mind is there as far as like what you can do to go out there and try to help each other. All right. So we usually on these streams, I'll probably end up making one of those little short 60-second clips of me talking about that in the future. I don't know. Maybe I'll get my head around it. But I just wanted to kind of come out and say some stuff. All right, let's go to your comments. All right, I'm just going to kind of pop some stuff up here. Helium Road says, so you're saying watching YouTube is not constructive? Nope, I am not watching YouTube. I have done a lot in YouTube recently. I use YouTube a lot to figure out how to do certain things. YouTube's like YouTube's like basically Google. All right. Maro says, I see John Hess video. I click. Thank you very much. Daniel, how you doing? You're asking me about today. Thank you, John. Everything you've done started to share so much knowledge. Thank you so much. Yeah. I hope we can share more. I think that's what we want to do. Right now I'm working 14, 15 hours a day to try to get this lot of stuff that just basically all comes down at once. It's just right on top of me, and I've got the 20th Century Fox video written, and I've got it pretty much almost at the second draft. I probably do another go through it with a fine-tooth comb before I shoot it. I'm not going to shoot it probably till June because I just don't have time. So thank you. Yasen asked me, how old are you, man? I am older than my teeth, but as old as my tongue. And if you know that reference, congratulations, because that is a good reference. Anybody can know that reference. Daisy Choi, I'm not even going to read. I'm going to read it out loud before I even say. I love. Hello, this is the content I'm looking for. Struggling about what I should do after graduation. Thinking about pursuing my dream job as a filmmaker, and I'm struggling where to start. Good question, Daisy. All right, I'm talking to my folks here because I'm talking to a lot of graduates. It's very hard. I would say, if you want to do filmmaking, I would, again, I think this is a good suggestion. Find a way to be of service to somebody else. So that could also mean going to just knock on a couple doors, like look up some production companies that are doing some stuff in your area and say, hey, I want to help you guys out. I want to learn. If you don't have the equipment, if you don't have the stuff to already start with, go ahead and knock on some doors and say, hey, I want to be of service to you. Look, I would like. Well, here's I can't go out there and tell you to work for free, because that's really unethical for me to say work for free. However, there is a level. If you're really green, you have to just say, I want to learn this. I don't know anything. I want to help you out for one or two shoots. Let me just kind of come and shadow you guys, and I'll do something to help you guys. I'll help you out. Try to get to know them and be friendly with them. That's the way to get your foot in the door. Don't always work for free. And there's a lot of people that will take advantage of people that work for free in this business because everyone wants to do this business. So I have to I pull the reins on, can't tell you to all work for free. Although, yeah, there's a lot of times you want to work for free. But if you do get equipment, if you get some equipment, go ahead and try to make something for other people. Go ahead and try to make some do a charity. Another example, I see Helium Rhodes is a photographer. I see this a lot, and it's a really popular thing. People that go to dog rescue shelters, and they take photos of the rescues to put them online, and hi, my name is Barky the dog, and I would love a home. And these photographers do these wonderful pet portraits. They do them for free. They do them as charity because then people will see the photos and they'll want to get the dog and rescue the dog. So that's a great example. What about it's like the Doggy Lonely Hearts Club. Ruff, ruff, ruff. I really like long walks on the beach. In that case, the dog really does like long walks on the beach. Ruff, 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 ruff. I'm good with children, and I don't chase the mail. Although I sometimes pee my bed. I don't know, but something like that. Tom Soila Moisey says, "What's the reference?" Such a great answer. I will not tell you. You have to figure that one out. I'm going to make that a mystery. If anybody can figure out what I was saying. I am older than my teeth, but not just as old as my tongue, but not as old as my teeth. Rick H says, "But why you bring someone else's vision to life instead of your own? I suggest you find a topic you are passionate about and build films around that." Yes, in a longer sense, but I think it's not about bringing someone else's vision to life. It's about doing something for somebody else. I think being of service to somebody else. Now, not to say that you can't do your own vision, make a vision. Although, I think maybe what you can include in your own vision is a vision that involves helping other people. And again, I am high on my I am high on my graduation, community mindedness, good for the world kind of thing right now. I'm not so high on you gotta do what you gotta do. I think if you are useful and you are good for other people, and sometimes too, maybe sometimes pursuing your own dream is good for other people too. Because right now I'm thinking about doing a musical, a short musical. And I think one of the things I've discovered too, it's instead of me mandating every single aspect of the musical, what if I take someone else's musical, something that's already written, and make that? Now, here's the thing: I get what I want, which is I want to direct a musical. I really do want to direct a musical. I watched Chicago the other night because I taped a theater thing. First thing I taped in a year and a half. First theater thing I taped in a year and a half, and I watched Chicago, and I think Chicago is a masterpiece of film. It's just an absolute masterpiece of a film. So I want to do a musical, but I thought, if I write the musical, I'm not very good at writing music. It just doesn't come naturally to me. It's a pain in the butt. Whereas if I did someone else's musical, I can make someone else's vision come alive with my vision, meld it together. We're both getting what we want, and man, that's so cool. Yasin says, Iran copied all my videos. As an Iranian person, I should say sorry, but 1 million Iranian people watch your videos. They don't know you or your channel. Well, they do know me. They see my face now. So I will not be sacrificed in the Iranian Revolution. Now, the thing about Iran is, I had some bosses that were Iranian, and I gotta say, they're an interesting people. My bosses, they're my bosses. So they kind of you're not too friendly with your bosses, but they would tell me the stories about before the revolution, how Iran was so culturally open, and it was really cosmopolitan place, and then the Ayatollah came in and repressed everybody, and it made it horrible. So that sucks, and good for the Iranians. I've come to terms with the Iranians taking all my videos. That means I'm not on the chopping block, right? I'm probably not going to be visiting Tehran anytime soon, but that's okay. If I do, maybe I'll be welcomed there. Maybe I'll be a celebrity in Iran. But anyhow, it's it is what it is. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they send me a nice check for the money for what they did, for what they broadcast. But what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What are some good ways to improve cinematography and storytelling? Oh, did it not go? Let's see. Oh, yeah, it did. All right, so what are good ways to improve cinematography and storytelling is practice. It really is practice. Watch stuff. Push yourself, challenge yourself, that kind of thing. That's all good stuff. What software am I using to live stream? I use vMix. And if you check out my last video that's not a short or a live stream, you can actually see how I built that setup. All right. The Animalist says, is there an idea you are holding off on because you're just not there in your skill set? No, not really. I think it's not so much a skill set, is really two things. It's my ability to finance it, or maybe that's what the skill set I'm lacking, is the ability to finance or figure out a way to finance it. Because I'm honestly not a very big fan of like crowdfunding, because I don't think I have the ability to really get a crowd to fund anything. I mean, I don't know. You guys are all here like hanging out with me, but it's hard to get people to open up their wallets to do stuff, and then I want control, which I'm trying to think maybe I need to kind of let go of a little bit. But I don't think skill sets. I think skill sets are the thing that's holding me back. It's more either a devotion of time and money, and fear, because a big undertaking. The great thing about any great idea that you have in your head is you haven't failed yet. If it's in your head, it's not. You haven't failed. It could be the best movie ever made because it's right here. But as soon as you put it on paper, as soon as you put it on memory card, you have that possibility of failure all of a sudden manifests itself. It's like Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat, the box of the cat is both dead and alive. You don't know until you open the box. Your idea is both terrific and amazing and a masterpiece and pure, utter garbage. It exists in both states as long as it's in your head. And that's a safe place to be. When you put it on paper, when you put it on to a memory stick, when you act it out and you film it and you edit it and you add music to it, it's not as good as I thought it was. Or it's really good. Who knows? It could be both, but you condense that all these possibilities get condensed into one finite thing, and that is the quality of your movie. Yeah. Helium Road says, I'm a cheap bastard. Sorry about that. So am I. So am I. Molto obrigado, says says the baby with the funny ears. I have no idea what obrigado means. So anyhow. But anyhow, that is really what I wanted to kind of hop on here and say. I didn't really want to spend too much time because I got to go unload my van. Because I'm going to take my van to Best Buy, and I'm going to get them to install my rear view camera. Because my van has a reverse camera, but I want to actually have my rear view mirror as a camera in the back, and the rear view camera doesn't really act as a rear view mirror, so I'd rather just go ahead and just put that in there because I have a gate. I installed a bulkhead between. So let's see. I always buy time to get some more comments flowing here, so I can answer. Fear of failure is a huge holdback for a lot of people. I know that feeling. So I filmed and what I wanted, threw it up on YouTube, and I'm not unhappy with the results. See, the thing I've come to realize too is that I've been doing this for long enough where my expectation and what I get are pretty close. Like I'm not disappointed. I'm very ever rarely disappointed in what I shoot, because I've already done it many times. I know what to gauge and how to gauge what I'm getting. Although sometimes you think I'm not getting. It's not quite what I want to do yet. It's not quite there. But I've learned too. Also, if you're on set and it's not quite right, you keep massaging it till it is right. You keep working on it till it is right. So it's not that. It is also the fear of, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I do a thing that involves a lot of social people, a lot of people involved with it, the day after, I get this weird feeling of not humiliation, but a weird feeling of like embarrassment. I have this weird feeling like if I had like a big party where I did a lot of cool stuff and it was like, yeah, everyone was having fun and yeah. The next day I feel like, oh, I was kind of embarrassed that we did that. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. Maybe it's like I don't ascribe to the fact. I don't ascribe to any idea that I have some sort of Asperger's or autism. Maybe if I was a kid, I might be diagnosed. I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, to me, I never felt that was holding me back or anything. But maybe that's like a neurotic tick that I have. I know for sure I am neurotic. I am completely and utterly neurotic. Oh, Richard says, that's saying thanks a lot in Portuguese. I don't know Portuguese. I know a little of Spanish, but I don't know Portuguese. That's very nice to hear. Hardeep says, listening to you talk and watching your Filmmaker IQ videos. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, thank you. And then you're asking about the Canon F1. I'm shooting right now with a Canon C70 because my Canon XC15, which is what I usually use for my Zoom camera. Again, the reason why we're in my edit bay here instead of in the studio is because my editing computer, my live stream computer is in the van. We were shooting with it on Tuesday. We'll be shooting with it again on next Tuesday. So I didn't want to get it out and put it all together and have to take it apart because I got to take everything out of the van tonight. It's so much right now. Oh, here we go. I like this question. P4. What was the movie that made you choose this area? Every person that gets into filmmaking, it's really, I feel like it's the movies you watched when you were 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Let's say 16 to 23 is those movies that kind of cemented you as a filmmaker or as a person that wanted to pursue filmmaking. And to me, the movies that made me want to do this were the movies of the late 90s. And it would be more of the dramas and comedies. So movies that came out, in the late 90s would be like American Beauty, which is an Oscar winner. Movies like, at the same time, there's a movie called Wonder Boys. If you ever watch Wonder Boys, that's where Iron Man and Spider-Man make out and actually have sex in a bed. I'm not kidding. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. The movie before Tropic Thunder when Iron Man and Spider-Man made out. But Wonder Boys was really one of those movies. It was like such a small little movie that just kind of cemented my love for it. And then a movie called The Big Kahuna, which is a very bizarre movie. Again, a movie in which takes place almost entirely in a hotel room. Is a movie that I absolutely I may well watch that tonight because that movie is so emotionally powerful for me. And those are the movies that another movie that I like to pick out that I keep referencing a lot. It's a movie called Bowfinger, with Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy, and it's about these guys trying to make a movie. It's so yeah, those movies, late 90s, early 2000s. Mulholland Drive was another example of those movies that came out right at that time. That like in my taste and cement my taste, my character. Like those are the movies that I would want to make. Is there a market for those movies? Maybe not. But you know what? I don't know. Like, when I was younger, I might have said studio filmmaking would have been my dream. I'm not convinced studio filmmaking is my dream. I might enjoy being able to make my own projects outside of the studio system because the studio system might be, just oppressive. I don't know. But, I'm more than willing to try it if Kevin Feige wants to give me a call and say, hey, I want you to direct the next Atom Man. Like, what's Atom Man? I don't know. We're just going to make it up. Here's $10. Shoot it in a Walmart parking lot. Atom Man, Walmart parking lot. Although, I could make that happen. Let's do that thing. And here's a question. In thinking about joining film festivals, is it a good idea? No, NGL, I asked about my uni filming equipment. If uni is closed because of COVID, I'm thinking of getting cheaper camera for filming. Film festivals, yes. You should definitely volunteer for a film festival. Do it once or twice. That's a good experience. Really good experience. I would definitely, as for sure, for a university student, absolutely, definitely check them out. Check them out. Try to avoid, only thing, a word of warning, don't go for a really, really low end. Go for a film festival that has at least a few years behind its history. Like, go for, if it's a 10th annual, whatever your city, like if it's a city event or something that's more, that's not just some like dude in the Chevy in the back saying, "Hey, I got my film festival right here. Come by." There are some fly by night film festivals. Again, if you do hook up with one, try it for a little bit. What do you have to lose? I mean, you don't obviously don't give them any money, but if you work for a little bit for a shady one, okay, you at least you get to see that part of the business. It's out there. So I would say, yeah, definitely check out some film festivals. Again, stay closer to like the bigger ones, the ones that have a longer track record. And then as far as getting your equipment, yeah, I mean, literally you can shoot on your phone. I mean, look, I don't recommend it. I've been frustrated all hell in the last few weeks with DSLR cameras. Like, I hate shooting with DSLR cameras. I kind of like really hate shooting with DSLR cameras. But if that's all you have, that's what you have, and you use it and you make it work. That's all it takes. That's all it is. Although, yeah, for what I do, like, but no. If you have one, use it. Use it. Space Brick Studio says, "I'm here to find success, and you have found it. You have found it, Kimasabi. You have found it." All I know about Wonder Boys is that Bob Dylan song, but I like it. Wonder Boys is a great movie about a writer with writer's block. Well, no, he doesn't have writer's block. He's actually working. He's like a famous author who is teaching at a small liberal arts college in like upstate New York, and he's famous for one book. And then his follow-up book, he's still writing, and it's up to like page 5,034. So he's got this, he just can't stop writing. Like, he keeps going back and trying to edit the thing. So he's got this artistic mental block. And then he's dating the dean's wife, and there's all of that. And then on top of that, it becomes just a mad dash. It's a madcap, what they call them, comedy, screwball. It's a madcap screwball comedy on top of all of that, and it's got Robert Downey Jr. plays his agent, and then the Spider-Man, the younger Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire plays the student that he's mentoring, who's this incredible writer, who's a magical writer coming up on the ranks. But it's a great movie. I love it. Any opinion on Bollywood? I don't know enough about Bollywood, so I don't have much of an opinion. I mean, I love anything that brings anybody happiness. If Bollywood brings you happiness, I love it. There you go. All right. Thanks for the history from 5 years ago. Thank you guys for watching that. I know we haven't done a lot of histories of, although the studios ones are kind of are mega histories. So we'll be look forward to that pretty soon. Well, Joker was a great throwback to 70s grit. I love, if you guys want to watch something fun, watch the Quentin Tarantino's breakdown of the Joker scene, the scene from Joker. I like listening to Quentin Tarantino because Quentin Tarantino, like so many people, I think with film criticism, can be very, very anti-populist, but Quentin Tarantino rides the line between being a complete, he can be in the art. He has the artist, the highbrow. He can tell you like all the details of highbrowness, but wax poetically about Barbarella. Like he has the ability to understand the importance of popular culture. Like I find myself getting very angry at people, very angry at people who tend to put down general pop culture, general populations. I don't like that. Like I hate it when people basically just I hate all superhero comic book movies. Those are all horrible trash. Some of it is trash, obviously. Some of everything is trash. But to put down stuff that is popular, to put down other people, I don't know. That to me, I mean, I have to go. I don't know why I'm wearing headphones because I'm not hearing anything with the headphones. I was hearing them earlier. But to me, the kind of I'm going to get very, very controversial. The kind of just general animosity toward like pop culture, toward just this, it's comes from the same place as bigotry. Like, there's not much difference between saying, I mean, obviously there is a difference, but to say like, oh, I don't believe that, I don't, superhero movies are all dumb, and then saying like, well, I think all brown people are all dumb. I think it's the same place. It's not the same thing. Don't cut this out and say John said it's the same thing. It's not the same thing, but it's the same place. It's the same kind of ignorance that comes from it. That's just my thoughts. You don't like that comment? That's fine. I don't care. You guys are. I started going down this thing, and you guys started to fill out my comment section. So let's go back to your comments here. Yeah, The Duel. If you guys haven't watched, I have not seen The Duel yet, but I would definitely. I mean, it's Spielberg. Spielberg's one of his first big movies. Oh, some guy owns the truck from Duel. It's on YouTube. That's cool. Bad karma. I skipped your comment. Well, a lot of comments came by. So put your comment up again. I'll read it again. Barton Fink and Adaptation were great films about writer's block. I didn't really care for Adaptation. I like Barton Fink though. Well, I like anything. I mean, the Coen brothers have a good track record, and Barton Fink was a pretty darn good movie. Adaptation. I feel like the writer of Adaptation. I forget his name. I feel like he needs to be reined in because he has great ideas at first, and I'm not dogging him, but he has great ideas, but they keep getting weirder and weirder until the point where you tire of them. Instead of kind of seeing an idea through, the guy the director that he worked with on those two movies, an Adaptation and the one Eternal Sunshine, I believe, Eternal Sunshine is really good. I really like Eternal Sunshine all the way through. But I think Adaptation starts getting a little too... The internal logic starts to really break down for me. And it becomes too tiring, I think, for a movie. And then he made Synecdoche, New York, which I loved the first third of it. And then it just wore out the welcome for me. And I haven't watched anything he's made since. I forget his name, but I'm sure chat will say it. But yeah, he's working, and I'm not. So whatever. Any thoughts on the Golden Globes? Oh, you're gonna get me canceled, right? Hollywood Foreign Press has always been known as sort of the boys' club. It's not. It has never been without controversy. I mean, if we go back and watch Ricky Gervais stuff from years past, he's touched already. So. Is this a case where, hey, this is the Golden Globes? It is the Hollywood Foreign Press, right? I'm not fooling myself, right? It may be one of the things where the roosters come home to nest, maybe. Although the other thing is, maybe it's just because we had such a. I mean, why are we having awards this year for movies? Why? There aren't just. If I was the Oscars, I would have just put 2020, 2021. And do one big event next year. That's what I would do. Because a lot of movies that were scheduled for this year didn't make it, or last year didn't make it out last year. So why bother? Anyway, well, but then people would say, well, here's my, all those small movies got a chance, but no one watched the Oscars. I didn't watch the Oscars. I didn't even know who won the Oscars. I guess Nomadland won. I probably should check that out because it doesn't look that interesting to me. But hey, why not? I gotta watch some movies again. Lee Strip says, I got angry at black bars. Yes, I did. I do very get angry at black bars. I forget what it was. So this guy on one of the last chats complained, like, he kept saying, like, so the reason, I'll explain this. I was talking about how black bars, how it's okay to cut off the top of the head when you're doing a close-up of, when in widescreen, because really there's no way to frame a widescreen shot, when you have really very little vertical space. You got to start cutting off the head. And he was saying like, he was like, well, I got movies like 2001 didn't do it. Like, you obviously didn't watch 2001. I showed him a clip where, yes, they cut off Bowman, the astronaut's head, to frame a close-up. And I explained the whole thing, and then it came down to, And this is, when you go into Kathy Newman territory, so what you're saying is, so what you're saying, John, is you think that 2001 has bad cinematography. I said, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here, and I banned his ass. Because if you don't have the reading comprehension to understand what I'm saying, again, I explained that on the last live stream. If you don't understand what I'm explaining on the live stream and I clarify in the comments, then you don't fucking belong on this stream. Sorry if I'm getting salty, but I'm going there. All right. Oh, custom culture. You agree with my bigotry comment. I belong, I think, to I feel like I need to start a movement called radical empathy. Like radical empathy. Like understand and empathize, not necessarily accept, but empathize with whatever your political opposite is. Like understand that they are human and they have human desires. Radically human desires. Radical empathism. Because I just got in a discussion last night that basically I unfriended this person in life. Like, I don't want to deal with this person because radically unempathetical. It felt, the way the political discussion went, it felt like I was talking to a bigot. It really did. It really did. And he's on the side that would consider himself not bigoted. Anyhow, Charlie Kaufman, thank you, Charlie Kaufman. Although, Charlie Kaufman, I gave him criticism that I feel like he needs to be reined in. But he does have some clever ideas. I do like him. So Norman Land is overrated, a couple people say. Well, what Oscar-winning movie isn't overrated? Chicago is not. Rick H. says, Salty John is in the house. I've had to watch my language in front of the kids. I've had to be very, very mindful of my language. Anyhow, all right. Now that people use smartphones a lot, will cameras adapt to portrait screen modes? I want to do a video on this, actually. I was going to do a video because I think most of you people who think that I am a devotee of the 24 frames a second, one of my most popular videos is about defending 24 frames a second, then I surely must be angry and upset about vertical video. And the answer is, I'm not. I don't really have a bad feeling about vertical video at all. Because the way I look at vertical video, and I guess I'm going to spoil it and tell you in this live stream, all 50 of you watching here, that the reason why I like vertical video is because when vertical video is watched on your phone. You don't watch vertical video on your TV. That's dumb. You watch vertical video on your phone, and if you watch like a well-composed vertical shot on your phone, it's kind of magical. It's kind of cool, actually. Damien Chazelle did a vertical film for Apple, obviously, to sell their phones and all that stuff. But if you watch his film vertically on your phone, don't watch it on your computer. Doesn't work that way. Watch it on your phone. It works pretty well because there's something about it. It's just because, and we can get into biology and all that but I don't. The argument is, well, you have two eyes on each side of your head, therefore it doesn't make... Don't try to argue science with this. The funny thing is, there's a weird thing in some psychophysics where they show people like rectangles, and they've discovered that I think people tend to overemphasize how tall something is versus how wide. Like, they'll show them like a rectangle that's a little bit too tall, but they'll say, "Oh, that's a perfect square." Like, I may be getting the science wrong, but there's an affinity toward the vertical vision versus horizontal. Now, how's this related to vertical video? Well, when you see like something filling up your hand, it feels bigger. Like, the image feels bigger. If you turn your phone sideways, it doesn't feel as big anymore. Like, the image doesn't feel like as expansive. So vertical video, I'm a fan of on your phone, not in the movie theater, because what's going to happen when you put vertical video in a movie theater? You're going to get grandpa saying, "How come there's black bars on both sides of the TV screen?" So yeah, people are not going to want vertical. And then if you're sitting in a large theater, you're sitting in a TV, you want to see. Yes, because your eyes are side by side, not up and down. Okay. But if it's in your hand, And then, if you are, how should I say this? If you traveled in certain places of the internet, only fans or something like that, you might have gotten some vertical videos that really work well in a vertical sense. Can I just leave it at that, or is that too is that too vague? I'll just leave it at that. How about that? Wait till you venture out. I really like Minari. Is Minari a movie? Okay, Minari. I'll have to see if I remember that. What is the first thing to do if I really want to help get into film? You want to go back earlier. We talked about do something for somebody else and try to help somebody else making their film. What mistakes did you make that you wish someone had warned you not to make? Sorry, my English is not. I'm using Translate. No, your English is fine. I think if I were to go back, I think this is a personal answer to you guys. I think I would have actually gone into theater instead of band. I know that is weird to say. That is a young thing. Like if I was a kid, I would have gone back to my younger self. I said, self, I know you like playing the trumpet. You can still do that, but do the theater thing. Do the theater thing, because you get to hang out with some pretty hot girls, or cute girls. No, I think I would have been better off in theater, because I think I would have saw a part of the world. I would have built my social part of existence, because in bands it's a lot less personal, because you're not talking to people. You're in a band, you're playing, and I was a really good instrumentalist. I was excellent, still kind of am if I ever pick up my horn again, if we're ever allowed to play again. But it's not the same. Like in theater, you get to interact with people, you get to spend a lot of time with people. I would have developed that personality part, and I feel like not until, well, I was a late bloomer as far as a personality goes. I was very shy until 23 or something like that, and I'm still kind of shy, although I feel like I have the ability to be personable. I'm on a live stream, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to a camera, which maybe not personable, but anyhow, that's what I would have probably told myself. I know that's getting a little more what you call it, personal. Rittenhouse, I'm just going to answer this. That's how lefties are. That's also how righties are. It's lefties and righties, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, look, I guess it's not going to be much of a secret. I lean right. But I also recognize that, holy moly, the right is just as bad. It can be just as bad. I just feel like they have a little bit closer to reality. Anyhow, I guess I've been out of the closet. I'm out of there. All right, I'll never work in Hollywood again. Who's watching this at this point? No, I mean, I feel like I'm radically center, radically empathetic. I'm backing it up. I can feel my career just disappearing by the second. Oh, Charlie Kaufman got done dirty. He did that animated movie, or was that a couple years ago? I'm not quite sure. How do you know if you are meant to write and direct films? No one is ever meant to write and direct films. I think, again, I know this, what I was saying earlier in the title of this video, you guys are going to hear it and like, oh, okay, whatever. It's just going to, and then out the head, and you're going to poop it out, and you're never going to think about it again. But truly, if you can make something that makes the world better, if you can do something for other people, and if you can do that through film and make the world a better place, I think that's going to be how you're going to succeed. Look, I'm not super successful, right? I'm not super successful, but I mean, well, you guys are here. The reason you guys are here is because I've done something to help you guys or make something for you guys. Now, none of you have actually paid me directly. I mean, YouTube pays me a little bit every month, just from the ad money, and that's quickly dwindling as I do fewer videos. But if you can do something for other people, then you will get yours in return. I feel like that's the message I really hope you guys get. And everyone's saying like, how do I know if I'm right to do this? It's not about you. It's about what you can do for someone else. I know that's that's hard for people to hear. I don't know. Well, I can try. I can't wait for some comment in this video calling me out. Then I'll probably have to go and yell at them, and then there'll be an argument, and then they'll say, so what you're saying is that all people are evil and Nazis and they all deserve to die. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And banned. Oh, Helium Rose got an idea. Show a film vertical in the sideways, but rotate the seats 90 degrees. I bet you they try that in Disneyland or California Adventure. Yeah, Rick H. I said, I watched a vertical video once and I realized I was drunk and had fallen over. So, all right, you're going to make me talk about this. When you ever see a selfie? Like, which would you rather, if you were to frame a selfie, how would you frame it? Would you frame it like this, or would you frame it like this? If you wanted a full body selfie, which way would you frame it? The answer, I would hope you guys realize, is like this. That's how you frame a selfie. So if you were to do a selfie and you really wanted to entice, let's say, your significant other, and, you know, maybe you've had a couple things to drink and you're like, well, let's do a little selfie here. Which way are you going to hold the camera? Like this, and you're going to see the entire selfie, or like this, in which case your image will cut off right to the chin. I rest my case, Your Honor. All right, I know. I get it. I'm having fun with you guys. I get it. Yeah, the thing about vertical video too is, I think, if you think about vertical videos, Dan says vertical video should follow good composition basics. If you think about vertical video, it's basically, think about a magazine page, but in motion. So it's like a Harry Potter newspapers where you would open it and it'd be the figures and they'd be doing the things. If you follow the composition that you would do for like graphic design, for, you know, a brochure or a photograph, even a vertical orient photograph, and you follow those compositions and you use that framing. And again, if it's on your phone, it just feels like it's more, like it feels like I'm looking at a bigger image versus doing it like this, and I feel like I'm looking at a smaller image. That's just and that's again my radical empathetic things, because I've been accused by one of my followers that comes on here and he gives me a like and he goes away. He says, I like these videos, but these videos are rambling. Yes, they are rambling, but that's because this is my therapy session. But oh, what was I going to say? I was thrown off track. Anyhow, I thrown off track. I'll come back to it. But the vertical video, yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Radical centralism. If there is something that the mass population is doing, like vertical video, there's gotta be a reason. That's the way I operate. I don't think that the mass population is just dumb. Like, either they're being told something or they're doing it because it feels natural. And I think people are shooting video like this because it feels natural. Like, I think when people do video like this, and I'm trained. I'm a trained cinematographer. I'm a video guy, so I will shoot video like this. That's ingrained in me. But a lot of parents are like, oh, look at the kid, she's so cute, and that just feels natural. If it feels natural, why are we fighting so much against it? I don't know. So anyhow, all right. So we're getting all these things. Oh, it looks like we don't have to fight to death. Have that fight to the death over Kat Dennings now. What do you mean? Was she getting married or something? No, she's. Don't read the gossip headlines about Kat Dennings. Let's see here. Is film school a good idea? I am going to go on a limb and say no. At this point in time, no. Save your money and either intern with somebody that's in the field or intern with a company that's in the field. I don't think film school is really worth the money unless, well, I think college is worth it because I think college is more than a trade school. Film school, I feel, is kind of a trade school. Like, people look at college as if it's trade. You go to college to learn a skill, not the way it works. You don't go to college to learn a skill. You go to college to become a better person, learn critical thinking. I admit, a lot of my critical thinking, my ability to research, my ability to communicate, hugely improved in college. Like, in 7th grade, I could barely spell. Spelling was so bad. I mean, now I still have trouble spelling, but still, I can write a little higher level. College changed a lot for me. It did open my mind up tremendously. Tremendous, actually. Of all things, I became a little bit more sympathetic to the libertarian side through college, believe it or not. College got me to thinking more along libertarian rights and property rights and things like that. It's funny how college worked back when I went to college in 2000 to 2003. But anyhow, so I think college in that sense is worth it, but don't look at college as a trade school. Like, you're not going to spend $80,000 or whatever crazy number it is now, $80,000 to think you're going to get a job doing film. Film is not you don't need to agree to, maybe you need to spend $80,000 to become a doctor. That's different. Or become a lawyer. That's different. But not a filmmaker. You can do that right now. Anyhow. I love hanging out with you guys, so I'm going to answer a few more questions before we go. Hi, John. What is a quick question? I have a camera that has shoots 25, worth downsampling 24, music, video, not film. Hard question to answer. If you are shooting 25 because you're in a country that shoots 25, to me, not really worth the 25-24 divide. It's not. To me, it's not worth it. You're much better, to me, my opinion is you're much better off just shooting 25 because that's what your TVs are set to. That's what your broadcast is set to. Just stick to the broadcast standard. There's not a whole lot of worth going to 24. However, if you want to maybe upload it to YouTube, well, YouTube will take 25 just fine too. So I would say stick with 25, and that is coming from somebody that defending 24 in cinema. And music videos, as far as I'm concerned, is very much a cinematic medium. So, you can follow that rule. Do I get paid to do this? No, I don't, unfortunately. I get paid a few pennies. You get a couple pennies. 288,000 people would disagree that you're not successful. Well, they don't know anything. What do they know? They don't know jack. There's that, a lot of people talk about the imposter syndrome. I don't feel the imposter syndrome. I just have more of a realistic, this is how much my bank account has syndrome. Binary reductionism. I love that. Yeah, I hate binary reductionism. I know what you're saying. I don't know what you're referring to, but I like that term. That's very useful. Thank you. Yeah, great. Make something to benefit other people. I'll be honest. So I am now like Hare Krishna, people follow Krishna, I follow Scott Adams. So Scott Adams, he did a little micro lesson on how to get rich. You know what he said about how to get rich? Do something for other people, and you will get rich. That's how you get rich. That's how every person that's gotten super rich, they didn't inherit it. They did something that changed the world, and that's how they made their money. I wish we could uninvent the word selfie. Maybe. It does have a little bit of a nastiness to it. But it's like, they used to shoot selfies in Polaroid days, I remember Dave Attell back in the day. I loved Comedy Central back in the day when it was still Comedy Central, and they would run late night with what was the name of the show? It was like where Dave Attell would just go around all night long. Dave Attell, if you don't know, is a stand-up comedian, great insult comic kind of, but he's like a drunk uncle kind of stand-up comic. He's not very popular anymore. But he used to go around late at night and just hang out with the people that are doing the graveyard shifts. He would just it was like dirty job, but he would just go around to different cities, and he just hang out with the barkeep until 2 a.m. Then we'd go out and hang out with the garbage collector, and he would hang out and he'd just joke and do this little show. And there's this one show when he went to Vegas and he hung out with the pawn shop guys. Yes, the Rick from Pawn Stars, before he was famous. And there's an episode where he's hanging out with him and talking about all the stuff that comes through the pawn shop. But I love that show. That was such a fun show. I missed that show. Jake says, it's called Portrait for a reason. Exactly. Hey, Rick says, keep that shirt button. For $5, I will. That's how you keep that shirt button. See, if we see, this is what's going to happen here. It's, a $5 super chat. Okay, it's coming back up. So every 5 minutes, a button will come unloose unless they get a super chat. That's how I'm going to make my money. That's how I made my millions. I did something for somebody else by not taking off my clothes. Yeah, Helium says it's just because it's the easiest way to hold a phone. I agree. It is the way you're holding a phone, but it's just the way people experience the phone. I think, when I look at my phone, we're going back into this topic, and probably people are like, get off the topic, John. But I spend most of my time browsing my phone like vertically. I'm on Facebook, although I should get off Facebook. Facebook's a piece of shit. But anyhow, yeah, vertical is very natural when the subject is close up. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I don't think you guys are getting my hint, but I'm enjoying teasing it. I learned filmmaking in film workshops and YouTube. I think you'll learn more filmmaking if you make some films. Making films, I think, will teach you more than any workshop or YouTube, because in workshops and YouTubes, you're getting a sanitized, and you're getting like everything's. It's like learning how to cook by watching Martha Stewart. Like Martha Stewart, she makes amazing shit. Her stuff is amazing. And then I'm trying to make a bow, and I keep fucking burning down the house. How does Martha Stewart? I know she's a jailbird, but how does she make the damn bow? It's insane. I tell you, Jerry. I'm going into my Kramer voice, my Jason Alexander voice. But if you, filmmaking workshops and all that stuff is very sanitized. And it's very here's how you, very everything exactly right. If you make your own film, it's like walking a tightrope, and now you get to experience what it's really like to make a film, and that's how you get the fun part. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Binary reductionism, true or false, good or evil, reducing everything to either or. So what you're saying is 2001 has terrible cinematography. Well, I didn't say that. I know that's not quite what you're saying. Yeah, binary reductionism is the whole us versus them thing. Instead of just, it's all us. It's not two things, it's everything. It's complications. It's radical. Everything is you can judge everything. Anyhow, never mind. I remember an episode where he crashed an ADR session that was a great episode. And he actually, David Tell started talking like trying to do the voices for the porno. Oh yeah, give it to me. Oh yeah, I love that show. That's a show they should reboot that show. Why not? Insomniac. Thank you, Insomniac by David Tell with the David Tell. I love David Tell. I always thought he was hilarious. Which movie wouldn't be cancelable, but lefties would try really hard to do it? A lot of them. So, all right, we're deep enough into this. I can kind of be a little more loose. You know what's hard to watch in the modern era with millennials? I'm a millennial. So I'm technically the first generation millennial. So I am a millennial. Let's get that clear. I was the graduating class of 2000. That is definitionally millennial. I'm a millennial. But watching a movie with Gen Z, which is 16 years after my generation, is watching Some Like It Hot. In my sense of humor, the way they treat Jack Lemmon in that movie is obviously played up for laughs, and it's obviously meant to show, even back in the day, in the 1950s when it was made, that yes, men are pigs. It was meant to show men can be absolute pigs. But in the Me Too environment, it feels uncomfortable to watch it with the people they're kind of taking offense to it. It's no, the joke is, yeah, the men are pigs. And we're not saying it's okay. We're not saying what they're doing to Jack Lemmon is okay. We're just saying, yeah, these are these are pigs. And maybe in some essence, in some sense, back in the 50s, like they were saying, hey, dude, don't do this because this is a dude and he's getting like catcalled, he's getting his butt pinched and stuff like that. Yeah, these guys are nasty. It's not all in good fun. There is a little bit of that. We all kind of knew it, but now it's not. It's taboo. It's not even funny. I don't know. I watched it with the friends that were like I play in bands, so I was with a couple college age kids, and I was like 35ish, and that was a little uncomfortable to watch that movie with really really young folks. Not really young. I mean, younger folks. I guess that's the difference between YouTube and OnlyFans. Well, the YouTube Shorts actually they have to be vertical or square. So who knows? Yeah. I know the guys in Goodfellas made pretty good food in jail. Probably some of the best food photography is in Goodfellas. the garlic cutting things. Let's see. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Think digital animation tools can help skip the expensive filming part and still learn directing. No, dude. The biggest mistake is thinking that you can basically edit it all. Because I feel one of my greatest assets is my ability to handle motion graphics. I can do basically anything motion graphics. I don't feel anything is holding me back in motion graphics. But that's not where the movies I talked about that I grew up with that I loved were not motion graphic movies. The Big Kahuna does not have a shred of CGI in it. Wonder Boys does not have a shred of CGI in it. American Beauty, that has some CGI in it, believe it or not. But it had nothing to do with the reason why I love the movie. So I don't think you can learn filmmaking by just sitting at a computer, and where you learn filmmaking by being around people. The fucking thing with this pandemic was that it took us away from other people. I don't care, if John, all people died. Yes, they all died, but also the tragedy of having to be away from other people. And I get it, we had to do it. We had to do it. But I cannot wait till we can go back and be with other people, because that is what we as human animals are meant to do. Be with other people. And filmmaking, to me, is one of the most amazing human things that we do. Is we sit around and we say, hey, let's make a little show. Let's put something together to make and show other people. And okay, so now I'm going to wax poetically about what we do here as filmmakers, as video makers. We create records for the future. Like, I can't wait. I make these little videos. Look, I make videos for like high schoolers and stuff like that. Or I've made funeral videos. I made a couple funeral videos for people that died of COVID. Okay, and to see like all these things put together, like to see all the photos and compilations of videos and all that. We're here. We're making a record. That's what filmmaking is. I don't know. It's hard for me to express this because it's a jumble of thoughts in my head. And I'm rambling and I'm tired. So I'm just saying that as filmmakers, what we do is we create records of us. And so when I go back and I look at a movie from the 1927, I don't think like, oh, look how funny they acted. But honestly, I look at some of the women from 1927. I think, man, I'd like to get to know her. I'd like to have her as a girlfriend. I know it's really thirsty sounding. You're pretty creepy, John. But you look at some of the women from back then, you look at the men too, like you can see their modern faces in their time, in the 1920 dress and fashion. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, that's my whole point is we create records. And you can't do that if you're just sitting behind a computer. It's not fun. It's not filmmaking. I mean, it's painting. It's something you do by yourself. That's why people paint. That's why people, do. Filmmaking has never been a solo art form. It's been a collaborative art form. Always has been. Anyhow, that's crazy. That's me talking about. All right, Helium. I'm gonna break your heart. I have not seen Road Warrior. I have not seen. You can find any guzzling. Maybe you should go to Bullet Town. I did watch Road Warrior 2 or Mad Max 2, and then I watched Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome very recently. I saw it as a really young kid. I didn't really think much of it because it was just kind of over the top. But I liked those two. So I have not seen Road Warrior, not the first one. Okay, are there any instances, again, technical question, where you're allowed to run an XLR mic cable directly into a cinema camera? For example, like talking interview, like feel like dual system is unnecessary. There's plenty of instances you're allowed to. You're always allowed to run an XLR mic into. That's why would a cinema camera have an XLR input if you're not allowed to run a cable into it? Of course, you're allowed to run a cable into it. The only reason why a dual system is necessary is because it, first of all, it like frees up the dual. Like if you don't have to run a cable to the camera, it frees up the camera. It frees up the audio recorder. You can put the audio mic anywhere you want. You don't have to have cables running all over the place. But there's no reason why you can't have audio cable into the camera. Now look, on a big movie set, there's going to be a sound technician that will want to have their own domain of sound. So they figure, I want to have total control over the sound. It'll be pristine quality, blah, 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 blah. It'll be really, really good. And then the camera side will run like a scratch audio sometimes, just to be able to help with some sync, right? But if you're not on a big old set where you have a separate person doing the audio, and then you have to have the editor sync everything. If you're not doing that, there's no reason why you can't run audio into the camera. I'm doing it right now with my audio cable. What do you think about Quentin Tarantino? I like him a lot. I probably a lot of people will say, "Well, how can you dare like him?" Well, I like QT. I find him infinitely fascinating. I think he's just an interesting person. Do you feel some Instagram impact on cinematography in 2021? No, not really. I mean, there's always, Instagram is just popular. It's just like, how is Instagram much different than, let's say, Elle magazine or Teen Vogue, or is Vogue? Would you say the same thing? Like, did Vogue affect cinematography? Sure, it did. Like, hey, you open up Annie Leibowitz's photography, that's inspired plenty of cinematography out there. So yeah, I mean, so yes, yeah, Instagram does affect everything. Affects everything. I just don't think it's bad. I like Dolly Zoom and Goodfellas. I learned a lot. Thank you. Yeah, that was my first video official for this style of channel. Pete McKinnon has some cool videos on secret food photography. Cool, check it out. Mortal Kombat. You guys are too young to realize that in high school, every single pep rally had, like, I think we were contractually obligated to play the Mortal Kombat theme song. Every single pep rally. Now, I don't mean to, like, brag because I know the kids these days don't have pep rallies. Sorry about that. I know I don't mean to make fun. It sucks. But I hope we can move beyond that. Do you think there will be great films made about the pandemic in the future? Give it time. Give it time. Not right now, but give it time. I'm not sure. I think the pandemic was the death loss. Again, the death toll of the pandemic was great, but the social impact, I think, will be even greater of what happened with the shutdown and all that. I think we have not gone through that. We have not figured out that part yet. Not by the slightest. Oh, there we go. I make memories for high school band students and parents, and they can't thank me enough. That's success. They don't need money for it. That's great. If I could pay all my bills without money, I'd be fine without it. But that's great. You know, I always appreciate the money, though. You need a little bit of money. Helium Rose's Marna Loy was hot in the 20s. LOL. I think It Girl, Clara Bow, was really hot. I really like Al Jolson's wife. I really like her. She's in the 30s. I forget her name. She was in the movie 42nd Street. Ruby Keeler. Something about Ruby Keeler, just the way she dances. She feels uncomfortable. She's so damn cute. Anyhow, she had Al Jolson. Al Jolson apparently was a jerk, so who knows. I asked about Dolly Zoom in class. The teacher gave me the old, you've seen Goodfellas thing. I said, actually, I was thinking Mr. Bean. I was actually, you know, one of my first, as a kid, the first time I noticed a shot in a movie, the first time I noticed a dolly zoom in a movie, the movie was, Christina Applegate was in it, and it was Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. There's a dolly zoom in that movie that I was like, hey, something's weird with that shot. That was the first time I recognized the Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Google it, and then, yeah, you probably don't need to watch it. Meowwang says, cameras need to add 32-bit float audio recording. What the heck is holding them back? Well, the thing that's holding them back is 32-bit float is not really it's not. So the thing you can remember about cameras is that all video cameras are based on broadcast specs, really. Almost all cameras are, they're all foundationally are centered around broadcast. So if it's not broadcast spec, in which 32 float isn't broadcast spec, then it's not going to happen. So the 32-bit float would only happen if you had a dedicated audio recorder. And it's also one of those market things. It's basically, well, if you're going to require 32-bit float for your audio, then you'd have a audio recorder, and you have a dedicated audio recorder. Then you'd have your own device for that. And the camera's like, I don't want to give you something that's going to cost me, even if it's $10 more to put on the camera, but it's one more thing for you to mess up, and then you can complain about because it's not broadcast spec. I can't just take this footage and just throw it into a TV station. We're not going to give you that option. That's why you don't have that there. And figure you really don't need 32-bit float. I've recorded tons of stuff on 16-bit. Just perfectly happy with recording 16-bit. So, anyhow. Oh, there you go. I watched the Lost in adaptation video of Andromeda Strain. Okay. How do you feel about a bout de soufflé? I don't know what that is. Is that Carlos? No, that's not Carlos Soufflé. Soufflé. Sounds good, though. Hey, I'm 35. I ain't too young for much. I know. I'm about your age. I'm a little older than you. Just a little bit. Every one of... let's see. Meow Wang, it's a very nice not to worry about clipping. So, dude, turn your levels down. Turn your levels down. That's how you not clip the audio. Like, I've been shooting a lot of stuff that's documentary. Have not had one clip of an audio because I keep my peaks around -6 to -12. Like, I don't let the peaks go anywhere above that. It gives me at least 6 dB of headroom. So always record. Don't try to. Audio is not where you want to do exposed to the right. That doesn't work. Doesn't work really well if you're trying to record as hot as you can on audio. Just turn your levels down, dude. Turn your levels down so that you're peaking. At least give yourself at least 6 to 12 dB of headroom above your audio. And then if you want, you can use a compressor, but you don't have to. Well, if you got that capability, but you don't have to, obviously. But yeah, 32-bit is not going to save you from clipping, and that's not the problem. Turn your levels down. Let's see. Oh, you feel like you're... So I love your history of that. Feel like you're going to school. I hope that's a good thing, yeah, in a possible way. 1920s Pirelli calendar with goofy-looking cars. There you go. Ooh, Unshin Andalou. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I've seen that one. I think I talked about it a lot. That's the one with what's his face? Dali, right? He directed that. All I notice is Christina Applegate movies is Christina Applegate. This is Christina Applegate in the Married with Children prime years too. Yeah, 24-bit, 48.8K seems to be standard. That's what I use in the studio. Sounds about right. Yeah, 24-bit is again. You up the bit rate from we're recording 16-bit on the regular cameras. 24 is a good place to go. But I don't think you need 32. I think that's just overkill. I have a Zoom F6, so I don't need to level my audio. Yeah, the nice thing about the zooms, I have the zoom. I gotta admit, I got the zoom 8 f8. That bugger is awesome. That I'm not for the price. To me, that's like no brainer. That's a great piece of equipment. And the Zoom F6 is just the same thing, only with 2 less inputs. So it's a great piece of equipment. It's solid, man. It's like a rock. So I think it's awesome. Yeah, those and they've got their own compressors and some ways to keep the peaks from ruining your audio. Rick H says, good audio is made in post. Keep the levels down and boost in post. Yeah, and really, good audio. Yeah, capturing good audio too. I think the key to that is basically, and I see this over and over again with a lot of young filmmakers, is they don't get their microphone close to the subject. It's like literally, I see over and over again people recording with the microphone on top of the camera and the talent's 15 feet away. Or 5 meters for you metric guys that can't stand feet. Alright, I can do both. I'm not small-minded. I know feet and meters. That's my own thing. All right. So yeah, if you got the mic way over here and the talent's way over there, you're not going to get good audio. No matter how good your microphone. You see, well, what kind of mic do I buy that I can get a good audio? No, you're not going to have there's no such thing. Get the mic close to your subject matter. So Jackie Brown is the most conventional Tarantino film. It doesn't feel like a parody. It does very. What's the other one he did? Well, he didn't do. Was it True Romance? Did he direct True Romance? I think he did, right? I don't think True Romance was very parody-ish. Anyhow. Yep. Yeah, Jake says you could record hot on audio consoles, but digital domain is completely different. Absolutely. 100%. We are all in agreement here. We are all in agreement. Turn down your freaking levels. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about clipping if you just turn it down a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. You're not gonna ruin anything. Yeah, I love that. Ratzel, metric for the win, and then freedom units. Meters. I know, I'm so inclusive. Feet, meters, centimeters, decimeters. So my whole thing about metric, and look, you're talking to a guy that has 3 medals in metric mastery. I know my scientific units. Thank you very, very much. I just happen to use feet a lot when I'm building stuff like in human space, because to me, a foot is a good human size unit. Like for me, a foot's about that much. So like that's it's the size of a foot, a human foot. An inch is about the length of a finger section here. About maybe half an inch is like the finger. Well, that's about 8 inches between index finger and thumb. The problem with meters is a meter is too long for me. A meter is like what? This. It's really hard for me to visually feel what a meter is. Maybe this is about 30 some centimeters or so. I think it's about 30 centimeters or so, somewhere in there. Remember, I'm a guy that has gold medals in metric mastery, where as a kid I was training myself to figure out what 30 centimeters. I would ask hey, how long is this piece of paper? Well, obviously you know what a dimension of a piece of paper, but they would ask you how long is it from here to there, and you would yes, it's about 5 meters. So they would have you even like touch an object and say how many degrees Celsius is it? You touch it. If it's warmer than you, and it's got to be higher than 37 degrees Celsius, so okay, it's about 45 degrees Celsius. If it's colder, it's obviously lower. So I know my metric stuff. The problem with metric is that the units are not very human. They're not very easy to replicate with a human scale. However, I've been doing a lot of 3D printing, and at that point, I will throw all my inches away for millimeters because I want that accuracy. I want to have that machine accuracy. I need millimeters. And that's the way we Americans are. We use what we like to use. We definitely, in Americans, we use millimeters all day long. We use liters. We buy Coke in liters, and we buy Coke in grams. Get it? Okay. So anyhow, hey Meryl, how you doing? How you doing, lady? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm here for a little bit. Well, because I've got so much to do. Here's the thing: when you gain the high, you keep the noise floor down. When I'm being one man band, no, that's not the way it works. When you keep the gain high, you keep the noise. No, that's not true. Okay, I understand what you're saying. You're saying when you gain high, your camera's noise floor is low because you're recording at a higher level, and then when you push your audio down, your floor gets lower. In that case, you gotta probably you might be just the victim of a bad bad recording on your camera, because in like all the cameras that I own, and even if you're using a Zoom or something, the noise floor is tiny. It's tiny. So I do a lot of one-man band stuff as well. I mean, I'm a regular what's it called? From Mary Poppins. Never mind. The joke was gone. So, yeah, I do a ton of one-man band too. And I'm telling you, turn your audio down. Do not play that game where you know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about. You're saying it's hard not to clip. Turn it down, because when you clip something, you lose it, and you're much better off turning it down. And if you really have to, put an audio a noise filter on it in post. If it really bothers you that much, you can always put a post filter in it. But you can't fixing a clip much harder. So I know we're getting you really hard. They say, call me old-fashioned, but I prefer clean audio over noise reduction, LL. Yeah, I do. I prefer good audio, which means you don't clip your audio, which means you turn your gain down. I don't know how to get, like, I know I'm bashing on you, man. I'm bashing on you, but it's like you're so stuck in this horrible mindset of, I don't want a little bit of noise in the camera, and I'm going to sacrifice the quality of the audio, versus I can have really good audio, and if I'm really stuck with it, I can always put some noise reduction on it. Anyhow, that's enough of that. Going back to that, Clement says, what do you think of camera angles going forward? Will eventually become done via AI? No! Oh, so every word, Salty John's coming. Every word after done via AI image processing, trash it. No. Totally no. Any practices in HDR audio? That's like a bunch of words. You're getting Salty John back here. That's like you just took two words that you heard and you mashed them together. HDR audio. What the F is HDR audio? High dynamic range audio? You mean like audio, like lots of peaks? Just capture audio. You know. Okay, I know. Pops Fresh and Meyer says, but metric units can be calculated by scaling by 10. So I've always argued with people about this. Like, okay, how many millimeters is the moon from here? And if you knew how many kilometers the moon was from here, you'd be able to tell me, right? By multiplying it by kilometer, multiplying by a million. You would know how many millimeters. The problem is you don't, because you don't have that accuracy. You don't have the accuracy to tell the distance from here to the moon in millimeters. Now, you might with lasers and all that stuff that NASA does. Okay, you might. But you can't tell if I just told you it's 98 million kilometers to the moon. Maybe to the sun, I guess. But 98 million kilometers is very inaccurate. It's not precisely 98 million. So you don't have that precision. So the whole thing about being able to multiply by 10 up and down, it's kind of not important. Really, it isn't. Because you don't necessarily have that accuracy. Like I could say something is exact, like this is, when you buy a Coke or a 2-liter bottle, that's 2 liters. How many milliliters is it? Well, it's 2,000 milliliters. John, what the hell is your problem? Is it exactly 2,000 milliliters, or is it 1,997.6 milliliters? You don't have that accuracy. So being able to jump up and down by multiples of 10, so what? Because it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't really mean anything. And then the other thing, with imperial, we don't necessarily jump up and down. I don't really give a crap how many inches it is from here to Chicago. I don't care. How many feet is it to Chicago? Why do I care? If I know how many miles, who cares how many feet it is? It's not important. Now, if you're doing engineering, different story. But anyhow. Helium says he's an engineer and use metric and English interchangeably. That's what's the thing. People dog Americans for not being smart. You Americans are so stupid. You don't understand. How are you guys so stupid for using a complicated system of multiple measures and then being able to use another system? You guys are stupid. Okay, Internet. That's enough sugar for today. That's enough. I've been turning down the gain since I don't have 32-bit. I'm saying is having more features will be really nice. Oh my God, just like a dream. Let me dream. No, just turn down your gain. 32-bit's not going to solve your problem, man. Come on, man. 32-bit's not going to solve your problem, man. That's the thing. Like you think 32-bit is like, if I had 32-bit, my problems would be solved. No, because you still keep turning up your gain. Because you're still going to want to play that game, that chicken with your peaks. You're still going to be like, I can turn it up even higher. 32-bit's not solving your problems. All right, let's see. Yeah, it depends on whether the moon is at apogee or perigee or in between. Well, it's a supermoon. It's not about accuracy but scaling, but it works in ArcViz, so it's all about numbers scaling. Yeah, look, I agree. I am not arguing that there is value in engineering. I'm just saying that there is the scaling again. But again, we're also working with computers here where you can scale stuff up and down. But is there functionally any difference for you to know that it's 1,000 meters or if it's 100,000 centimeters? Is there functionally, does that make a slick of difference? Not in the slightest. Like if you're working in scale, you're working in scale. Now, of course, yeah, you go between miles and feet, but then again, who works with feet if your scale is miles? There's no point. Anyhow. All right. Okay, there we go. Nabil says, what you're saying is you are shooting film and not shooting satellite into space. Well, yeah, satellites in space. Let's use some meters. Well, if you notice, like they do it. Their lenses have both metric and foot markings. But for me, like visually telling what something is like 8 feet away, I can visually grasp that real quickly. Then 2.5 meters. Versus 2.7 meters, like 8 feet versus 9 feet is like, what, 2.7 versus 2.9? So I got to deal with decimals now. That's harder for me, like functionally 8 feet, 9 feet versus 2.65 meters, 2.7. So now we're getting into smaller, never mind. All right. Yeah, Myung Wang is obsessed with the idea that 16-bit needs to be saturated to the max to be usable. I think also what he fails to realize is that he'll probably saturate 32-bit when he gets it. We're not. I love you, Myung Wang. You're always on here. I appreciate you, man. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm not gonna do anything bad to you. I record hot electric guitar and other stuff. Negative 12 dB on inputs, and you have enough dynamic range to use compression and such. 12 dB is a massive amount. It surprisingly it is. Like you don't realize that because decibels is a logarithmic scale, so 12 dB is a huge amount of headroom, and you get really. I've almost sometimes found it to be too much headroom, but you're super safe at 12 dB. If you got 12 dB of headroom, super safe. You have to have a nuclear blast. No, just kidding. If you have an explosion in the background, you might cross over 12 dB. But if you're just recording regular people talking or even a loud hot guitar amp, probably okay. All right, you guys. I mean, I love hanging out with you guys. I want to keep talking, and we'll talk for a little bit. I've got to get. Oh my God, it's 8 o'clock. Oh, jeez. I'll talk for a little bit because I love hanging out with you guys. What would you say is a better investment for someone beginning filming? A nice brand new name LED key light or a bunch of low quality lights like hardware store clamp lights? Don't go with the brand name LED lights because you won't have all the other gear required to make that LED light look really good. Although hardware store clamp lights, I mean, you're gonna make you're talking fractions of a penny. Now, I think there's some cheap stuff out there that is LED. There's some cheap LED stuff that's pretty good. It's okay. I would go with that. Rick H, I'm sorry. You're editing. I'll have to get going. Fill the bits of the brim. Say, come on, the moon landing was shot in the studio. That's why they use feet. All right, well, yeah. Oh, real quick, I want to answer why is 8K so good or is Sony 4K bad? 8K is just a lot of Ks. That's all it is. So yeah, let's wrap this up because I gotta kind of put some stuff away. I'm gonna see if I think I'll unload some of my van tonight before I go home, and I gotta make dinner, and I got some more work. I gotta do some editing too. Okay, alrighty, whatever. I like hanging out with you guys. I miss doing this. I want to make more Filmmaker IQ videos. Right now I've got 7 graduations, I think, at least 7, maybe more. I've lost count at this point. 7 hours. Each graduation, hour and a half, I'm overseeing. It's going to be a lot, but it's a good thing. And the person in charge of one of the schools says, guys, you're doing a solid for the kids. And, okay. I mean, I'm getting paid well, so. But, yeah, it's a lot of work. I can't wait to get back to doing stuff with you guys. Hanging out with you guys. All right, man. I will see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out with me in this little impromptu stream. And we are out. See you later.